Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back, Chicago Worldwide Intellectual Radio. Let's go. Your girl, Brandy J, is back on the mic. Another Wednesday live, 6 p.m. You know what's going on, Intellectual Radio. Also, today's show is always brought to you by yours truly, True Essence. We are unique, located in Broadview, 1605 West Roosevelt Road. We specialize in all type of spiritual care as well as aesthetics. Also, you can follow me on IG. That's Brandy J, 3 Ys underscore. And also go get us. Let's go. You know what's going on. We are looking to get into the bag. And for all of my mentees and mentors out there, what's going on? Love you guys much. I will be back in tune. Don't trip. It's love forever. And Chicago, how are y'all doing? Worldwide again, how are you guys doing? Loving the energy. I'm just loving this beautiful time that we're in and how we're able to just bring the collective energy together. So today's show is going to be twofold, right? So last week we had a conversation in regards to intuition, right? And intuition was really regarding your intuitive nature connected to the divine source, right? And knowing that us getting into this peak season in a vibrational time that we're in, how to trust your intuition and how to use it. So some of the components that we touched on was knowing the difference between intuition and fear, right? Because fear can come in and take hold, right? Fear can have you paranoid, thinking the words, having these different syndromes or whatever have you. And also, fear doesn't leave you with a sense of peace. Whereas with intuition, it leaves you with a peace, even if it's not what you want to hear, even if something may make you paranoid or something someone's doing or the potential of something or whatever have you. Spirit, when you use your intuitive nature, it gives you a calm, it gives you a peace. And not only that, but it also gives you a roadmap on how to get through that, whatever that opposition is. Not only will spirit give you the intuition to know what's going on, but it also would give you the insight on how to get through it. And that's the beauty about being connected with God, being connected to source, and being connected with our angels, right? Because you have God, the source, you have us that's downloaded right into this reality, but then you also have mediums that can go in between these realities, right? They can go and they can fluctuate in between these realities, and some may call them spirit guides, some may call them archangels. You have different forms and different ways to call them, but all of that is a source of energy, and we can tap into that. And then not only that, we have our ancestors as well, right? Because our ancestors collectively live through us, through our genetics. So there's a lot to learn in this galactical experience. I'm so happy to be here with you guys, to be able to assist you in this journey and just to be able to expand the consciousness. Because again, when I do this, it's not just for you, it's for me as well. So I'm learning, I'm developing myself, developing the skill set that's needed for our people to get into the paradigm that's needed to go. So back going into intuition, like knowing the difference between fear and your intuitiveness, and also learning how to be quiet, right? Because in being intuitive, one will have to be connected with source, and being connected with source, you will have to be at peace. You ever notice someone who's like jittery, or someone who can't be still, or always trying to find something to do or whatever have you? They haven't developed a strong sense of self, right? You know, the saying goes that, hey, sometimes some people keep themselves so busy, but just because you're busy doesn't mean that you're doing your true work, your true divine work. So we just have to not, in this society too, I must say before I move on, is that this society really perpetuates us being busy, right? Everything's about go, go, go. Gotta hurry up and get to work. Gotta hurry up and get the kids. Gotta hurry up and cook. Gotta hurry up and do this. So I get where that comes from. But because we know that's the nature of the beast, if you will, that we know we have to be able to counteract that. And the best way to do that is to be still. So in between the runs, the school runs and the work runs and the emails and the call, take a minute. Take a minute to just be quiet and be still with yourself. Do some of the practices that we spoke about, such as meditation, sun gazing, and all those beautiful things. And I think when we hear meditation, we look at it like so like hugely. And I really don't want us. I wish we can find a better term, but until then, we're going to use it because we have to expand, right? But really, meditation, I believe that we all practice it inevitably because it's just a part of the human brain, but it's more like being centered and being intentional in that centeredness, if that makes sense. Being intentional with saying, hey, I'm going to allocate this much time to unplug from everything. No music, no anything, nothing. I'm just going to sit here with my thoughts and I'm going to give it and do it at this specific time. You ever went into certain businesses and so certain cultures and they got their mats in the corner and they're doing their praises and they're doing their worship. They might even go to the altar and give worship to the altar and to their certain deities and ancestors. Well, I think we all should practice that, even if you don't want to necessarily do the altar thing, right? Or the deities. Sometimes it's just sitting still and just meditating, sitting still and observing, sitting still and allowing spirit to decode what you're experiencing at this moment, because everything you're experiencing at any given moment is unique to that moment. You can't get that moment again. You can't get the rebirth of something, the ending of something, the this of something is unique, right? So in every moment that is unique, which is every day, because every day under the sun is a beautiful day. It's divine, is given to you. It's a gift. The present is a gift, right? So in that, you should also take time to take in what you're gathering from the day, right? What your experiences have been like, and taking a moment to reflect along with spirit shows your allegiance and your love. And man, it's an homage. It's like, man, I appreciate. And instead of looking at the bad, because when you're going, oh, I ain't got enough of this, oh, I can't do that, oh, this got to get done, you feel overwhelmed. But when you take a moment in solitude also brings gratitude. I believe solitude can, if you will, bring gratitude. And in that gratitude, more comes. There's an overflow. Your cup runneth over. So knowing who you are, knowing your intuitive nature, learning how to fine tune it and preserve it, knowing the difference between that and fear, knowing when to be still and how to be still, knowing the chakras, right? We're not going to go in that today, but if you haven't already, please just take some quick studies on it. You can go back to some of my previous podcasts and or go into YouTube and just basic beginner chakras, right? So we understand how the energy centers work in the body, how the Kundalini energy rises. And we haven't even touched that, guys. I just thought about that. I'm like, I'm writing my book, right? And I'm like, wait, going through chapters, I'm like, we haven't even touched on Kundalini energy, which is the whole premise of chakras, right? So Kundalini energy, just a quick synopsis, is really the serpent that is going up the chakras, going up the baseline of the body, the vortex center, right? So you'll see that sometimes in certain like medical facilities, you'll see like the staff, and then you'll see the two serpents, and the two serpents having a head, right? All of that is symbolic to our energy. Everything that is around us, once you start to vibrate higher and understand sacred science and sacred geometry and understand metaphysics a little bit more, as I'm still learning as well, you'll be able to see how everything is synchronized and how everything works together. And some of the symbols that you've been seeing on your police stations, on your hospitals and stuff like that is really a lot of our ancient symbols, which we touched on as far as sigils, right? I think we spoke about that briefly a couple podcasts ago, which is how sigils create. It's like a sorcery, if you will. So we're not going to dive too deep into that now because that's really a whole subject on its own. But I do want to kind of prep you guys for what's coming. And if you can, always do your due diligence. But yes, going back to the chakras and learning how the energies work, because once everything is flowing, right? Once that Kundalini energy is able to rise to that crown chakra, and then that cobra is open, right? And it's flickering, right? You are in God light. You can then activate others just by your mere presence. You have a orb around you, an energy around you that, yes, some may even energy vampires, if you will, may even come. Again, we were talking about that last week. People will be like agents. They'll shapeshift in front of you, right? You like, hey, how did this person, well, that's what happens because when you have a certain energy, some people can't help but to manipulate that or take from it or whatever have you, because they have their own things going on. So as you expand in consciousness, you also have to be in tune and so intuitive to know when to withdraw back, going back to the cocoon phase, when to draw back from certain people, certain things, and certain energies, because very important. Because if you have a bigger mission, and whatever that mission is, even if it's just clearing the pathway energetically in your family. Some people are simply meant here to uplift curses that's been affecting their family a long time. So you have to think about what your true calling is. Sometimes it's not always about the glitz and glam, getting to the Hollywood or something, or owning something. Sometimes it's just as mere as your presence and you having integrity and you doing the things that you do are breaking curses in the genetics. And that is uplifting curses that's plagued your family or generations. So we all have to be in tune with what our true divine purpose is. We always have to make sure that we're in tune with our genetic frequency and just making sure we're paying attention. So that was just a quick synopsis of what we talked about in regards to last week with intuition. Today we have a beautiful, beautiful subject, which I think intuition is a great part of, right? So today we have Corey Ether. He is a DJ, a great, great friend, actor, and man, just an all-around artist, an exceptional person. So he and I will be talking about co-parenting. So co-parenting and what are the pros and cons of it, how our children are affected by it, and so many topics, right? Because intuition is a part of that, right? Because with co-parenting, you definitely have to use your intuition because a lot of feelings are involved, a lot of this, a lot of that, right? So knowing when to say something, knowing when to reserve, and knowing when, hey, I'm gonna pocket this and all of that plays a role, right? So without further ado, guys, we're gonna go on a quick little break. Welcome Corey Ether to the podcast Intellectual Radio. You guys know what's going on. Brandy J, I'll be right back. Love you guys to pieces.
You the type that'll change your life, make them look at you in a different light. Still be shining on them 20 years later, just to show a hater that they still a hater. You's a living legend and emancipator. You so live, you create a player. I mean, you the reason that I'm getting paper. You the that should carry some toilet paper just to wipe me down. Do it better, do it right, do it different, do it nice. You do the impossible, then do it twice. Hey, everybody wanna know why you killing them so hard, why you taking it so far. Baby girl, you a star. You got it. Yeah, I want it. Baby, you got it. No, you got it, baby. I love it. You got it. Girl, I love it when you do it to him. Girl, I love it when you do it to him. Girl, I love it when you do it to him. Yeah. To it. Hey. Girl, I love it when you do it to it. You got it. Driving them insane, so ain't nobody in your lane. I'm the player, you the coach. Won't you put me in the game? I be surfing on your wave. You the baddest all around. They should call you fire marshal, cause you know you shut it down. You shut it down. I love how you do it better, do it right. Do it different, do it nice. You do the impossible, then do it twice. Yeah. Everybody wanna know, how did you get so fly? They not on your level. Yeah. You can't get up that high. You got it. Now want it. Now want it. You got it. You got it. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I love it. You got it. Girl, I love it when you do it to him. Girl, I love it when you do it to him. Girl, I love it when you do it to him. You got it. Yes, you do. I want it. I wouldn't lie, you baby. Got it. I love it. I do. You got it. Girl, I love it when you do it to him. Girl, I love it when you do it to him. Girl, I love it when you do it to him. You got it. You're the hottest thing I've ever seen before. And I will never hesitate to let you know. I want 1,000 in the room and all I see is you. Ain't no need to lie. I won't lie. Baby, you the truth. You got it. Yeah, I want it. You know I want it. You got it. You know you got it. I love it. Killing them, baby. You got it. Girl, I love it when you do it to them. They ain't got nothing on you. Girl, I love it when you
Hello,
do
hello,
it to
hello.
me.
Welcome back. Intellectual Radio. Let's go. Brandy J is in the building. Corey Ether. Y'all welcome him to the stage. Corey.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. You enjoying it?
Uh, it's all right.
It's all right.
It's
Slight showers.
yeah, it's hump day.
Yeah, it is hump day.
It was been dry most of the day, but a
Yeah.
little drizzle outside now.
Little drizzle. We
Yeah.
needed that.
We needed that.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm well. Just can't complain. It's just a beautiful Wednesday. Enjoying the weather. Got a wedding to attend next week. And just
You get
enjoying.
married?
Well, you would think, right? You would think.
I mean,
Not yet, Corey. Not yet.
okay.
Yeah. But anyways, so today we're going to be touching on co-parenting.
We are.
Yes. So I definitely want your intake because you are so hands-on with Sage, and you and I both co-parent. Well, not together, of course, but I co-parent with my ex-husband. You co-parent with Sage's mom, and there's a lot of things that goes on in between that. A lot of beautiful things as well. And so let's talk about some of the pros and cons of it. And I know you said it was another.
Yeah, so I think that there's you have co-parenting and then you have counter-parenting.
Counter-parenting. So please elaborate on the counter-parenting.
So with co-parenting, I feel co-parenting is when you work together to raise your child properly, right? You cooperate with one another, right? For the sake of the child, right? The child that did not ask to be into the world, right? Um, but you do have a lot of situations where you have a lot of parents that choose to counter-parent, where they feel that they will. You have a lot of situations where you have certain parents that leave and abandon their child and their family. You also have situations where you have a parent that will take the child and abandon the other child. I mean, the other parent.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Which they call it uprooting the child. Especially if the child is in a home with both parents and you uproot the child away from the other parent. Just that's where the imbalances happen. So I feel like I'm looking at like the dating scene. A lot of people say there's pee in the dating pool. I think is like the term they're using now, right? Uh, and I think it's because a lot of the adults now, a lot of people are results of co-parenting households.
So it's their past experience that's showing up.
Yes, because
Okay.
that's why people have normalized co-parenting households. People don't even try to work together to try to have an actual family.
I don't believe that to be true.
Not all the time. I'm not saying all the time, but you see that a lot. People don't fight very hard to keep their family. Two people don't fight very hard to keep their family together. You always see them fighting against each other.
There is some truth to that, of
That
course.
maybe I should say that there.
Yeah.
So I mean, just like Jay-Z and Beyonce and them talk about, nobody wins when the family feuds.
Yeah.
It's like you can be good, but it's like you won't be great.
Mm.
And I think that when you raise a child like in a co-parenting household, like both parents have to be there like equally, like because I see a lot of like over mothering, under fathering going on out here.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
I see like a lot of adult men and women, their emotions are not regulated.
So do you feel like past trauma and whatever, like that person's upbringing, the parents' upbringing shows effect on a child, basically? So they bring in their previous trauma that they grew up in, and they're bringing that into this relationship with their children's father, and so on and so forth.
That's definitely correct. I'm glad you talked about trauma because I personally feel like as a parent and anyone that wants to be a parent one day, you have to heal from your childhood traumas. It is not fair to pass down your childhood traumas to your child because that is exactly what's going on. One of my biggest things is healing because my daughter, when she smiles, she didn't ask to be into this world, right? So she deserves to grow up happy. She does not deserve to grow up with her parents' BS. You know what I mean? Or maybe it came from her parents' BS. You know what I mean? It's just continuously being passed down. I'm just not with that.
So you want the curse to be broken, basically.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the higher purpose of any type of
For sure.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I refuse to grow up upset. I when I grow up, I'm grown, but I refuse to raise her while I'm upset.
Yeah,
When I'm just like, I have to one accept it, and then that means that I need to work harder on myself to be the best father that I can be because Sage needs both mommy and daddy.
exactly.
And she does not deserve the broken versions of her parents. No child
Absolutely.
deserves the broken
I love
version
that. Yeah.
of their parent. And I think that we all have our things going on. And I
Yeah.
think that we have
You
to
have to be gentle with yourself.
for sure. I
You
mean, I think
know.
you have to be tough on yourself too,
Yeah,
because
absolutely. I
I mean,
agree.
in the healing process, it's like only you really know what's going on inside. Nobody can read your mind. People can ask all the wrong questions, the right questions, but only you are going to be able to figure out what you're going to be able to do, you and God. But you have to want to do the work. A lot of times people don't want to do the work. They're just looking for somebody to just say, take me as I am, and you'll be the person to put me back together. I think that's BS. I think
Yes,
like I just don't believe in build a bear situations. I
absolutely.
personally don't care to have like a project. I think that you can help the person that you would, and y'all build together and whatnot and teach each other things. But I don't want like a woman to date me and feeling like she's dealing with a project. I don't want her feeling like, man, he just always upset and he got this, that, and the other going on. I feel like coming correct I think that's the only way.
Yeah, energy that's definitely matters. I mean, it's a lot of everybody has their own things of what they want, but energy definitely matters. Like you said, you don't want no one scout face, always upset, because
Yeah,
energetically, that's going to feed off to you. That's going to bleed into to what you got going on. If
right.
that person isn't uplifting you and making you feel light and vibrational, then it's just not for you.
For sure.
Yeah. So piggybacking off of last week conversation in regards to intuition,
Okay.
what do you feel? What role does intuition play when it comes to co-parenting?
I mean, when it comes to intuition, I grew up in a co-parenting household. You know what I mean? So, um, knowing what that looks like, it makes me want to. My intuition is just like all the way there now, to the point where I don't really get upset anymore. I know exactly what it's going to look like. I know that, say if there was some type of friction in the situation, I know that it's basically to knock me off my square. I've learned to remove emotion away from my daughter's mom, and I've learned to focus on a healthy relationship with my daughter.
Absolutely.
I think like that's what's important. I think that once that respect is there, that respect is there. But most times it's not as amicable as many may think it's supposed to be. A lot of times you don't even really know who a person is until after a child comes into the world.
True.
A lot of people that don't have children think otherwise, but it's a lot of times you just don't know until you're in that situation. But what I will say is I don't regret a thing. Um, I'm not. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like I love being a father. Being a father is like my most favorite thing to do in the world. It
It's like
is.
and what you leave in, like your legacy, right? What
Oh,
you leave on
yeah.
this earth.
That's exactly what it
Yeah.
is.
It's like
So
you're gonna see directly what you have sown, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. And I want Sage to, when she grows up in this world, because she's growing up as a young black woman, I want her to have a amazing view of the black man,
Right. Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
she can say, "Yo, my dad is this, and this." Just like I would want her to brag about her mother.
Right.
But I say it to simply say, because unfortunately, a lot of black women that don't have healthy relationships with their fathers, they may love black men, but they don't respect black men because they don't respect their fathers. And a lot of times it's hard for them to respect any other man outside of their father, because if the man that brought them into this world ain't trying to work on a healthy relationship with them, it's hard for them to even fully trust having a healthy relationship with any man outside of that. And I think that's where the broken home thing comes in at. I think that's where the healing needs to come in at. I think people have to start accepting many things. I'm not saying it's easy, but when you have children, It is so important to heal because if that does not happen, the generation after is just, I mean, we see what's popping.
Yeah, absolutely. And I 100% agree with what you're saying. I feel like that goes with both ways, even when it comes to men. You know, it all boils down to the black man. When the black man wasn't present in the home, that really deteriorated the family, and it
For sure.
deteriorated at the community, and it corroded. And you just now starting to see more of a presence black back with black men being involved in the family, taking leadership and ownership and things of that nature in all different type of facets. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So to your point, we have to start to appreciate the black woman. We have to appreciate the black man. We have to appreciate one another and work together. And
We have to appreciate ourselves first, because I think
absolutely.
that as human beings, I think a lot of us are so hard on ourselves. Like, I have this debate with my brother and stuff like that. It's kind of like people are so hard on themselves when they look at the age they are and they feel like they should just be here, 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 especially when they're looking at everybody else on the outside. Like, I'm sorry, I don't really get caught up with what everyone else is doing, because I know that we all don't have the same hand. We all have a different set of cards. So
Hmm.
we all playing with a different hand. So, and you can't compare people's, you don't know
Yeah,
where people been at. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? You don't even know how they got there. You just know they're there. And I think that's another thing people get twisted. They see a person is somewhere and they're like, I just want to get there. And it comes to a point that they forget.
How what the intricate details that took to get them to that
Integrity
specific
goes,
place. Yeah.
people don't even realize they put a cost on their integrity,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
because they want a quick thing and they're not looking at the long road. Because I think that when you build something big, when you build something great, it literally takes time. It's not, a lot of times it doesn't take 6 months to build it, or a year. A lot of times it takes years to build something great. Rockefeller Records was not built in a year. Interscope with Jimmy Iovine was not built in a year. Cash Money, I can keep going. No
Yeah,
Limit, like
absolutely.
QC, like a lot of these, like I'm just naming just music really. Apple,
Yeah.
Amazon, like a lot of these things were not built in a year. It took time. It took a lot of, sleepless nights for people and stuff. But I think a lot of times people want to still get their sleep and still get their money too.
Right. Well, we got the microwave generation going on. Give it to me fast. I can
And
get everything
it goes
fast.
out just as fast.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes things can come fast, but that's very rare. The most things that are going to be long lasting, like your apples, like your Rockefellers, and all of that. To your point, it takes time. It takes discipline and diligence, and most of this generation don't want to give that. But hey,
Why do you think that is?
well, again, going back to everything is fast, everything is accessible. Everything is so accessible. Everything is quick, and I think it's just the energy that this generation was born into, and we kind of got a little bit of that. But our kids are kind of like they're entrenched in it in a sense.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing. Like, the unfortunate part about it is that,
Everything's from the phone. Like, look,
yeah,
conveniency. Like,
yeah, but I think that's even like even with my daughter's age, like I I've been an entrepreneur more like longer in her life than I've worked like a regular 9 to 5, right? So Sage, it will be 4 in January. So I've been like a full time entrepreneur for like the past 3 years, right? Um, One of the things that's super important to me is that I see a lot of people schedule their children around their work schedule. I wanted to schedule my work schedule around my child. I wanted to be one of those hands on fathers that she sees, even though I'm making what I got to make and getting what I got to get done. There's 24 hours in a day. There's so many different ways to get things done. I just think that people don't understand sacrifice comes with that.
yeah,
Um, Sacrifice, is something I understand that comes with everything that you want, especially if it's rare, especially if it's very hard to obtain. But I care about being there for my child. I care about her seeing me. I care about her just. She just knows I'm that hands-on dad. Like, I care about being at her school volunteering. I care about going on field trips. I care about doing her hair.
Right. So all of the intricate details.
Yeah,
I hear you. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I feel like quality time is the best time because you get to kind of make your impression on them. And that's something that's going to last a lifetime.
for
But
sure.
me, I feel like it's balanced. Like, I definitely like being there, but hey, I still have to do certain things. It's like we have to get to our goal. And to me, like me and you were both entrepreneurs. And just being able for our kids to see us dream and realize our goal, that's a beautiful thing, because one day soon she's seen you did the tour, right? We didn't even talk about that. So what was going on with this tour?
Yeah, so it was called the Pure Venom Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we did a 10-city tour, so we pretty much did Seattle, we did LA, we did Phoenix. We didn't do San Antonio. We were supposed to. We did Houston, we did Atlanta, we did Louisville, Kentucky, we did
Kentucky.
Gary, Indiana, then we did Chicago. So it was a cool situation. Pretty much flew out to Seattle, and I was on the road ever since Seattle
That's what's
in
up.
a vehicle, seeing all of half the country, I should say, in some ways. Um, got to see a lot. It was cool. I was around a lot of different personalities. Um, a lot of stuff happened
Why are you looking at me when you said personalities?
because I'm coaching right now.
No, but going back to the point, saying that at least your daughter gets to see you living out your dreams. My son get to see me living out my
It's
dreams,
awesome.
and man, it's a beautiful thing because you're aspiring, and that's what this thing is about. So yes, get into the bag, learning multiple ways to get to the bag, but also having that entrepreneur spirit. It definitely goes a long way.
For
So
sure.
we kind of dived into a whole nother different spectrum of
We did.
things, but that was cool though. I
It
love that
was
flow.
segue.
Yeah, definitely hot. But we're
Hmm.
gonna wrap it up. But I really wanted you to give just a quick overview again, because I got the co-parenting
Hmm.
down to a science. But what was the other term you used?
Counter parenting.
Counter parenting, and that's when somebody's basically going against. They're not here for the good cause, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So again, co-parenting is when you're working together, cooperating per se. But I would look at counter parenting. Counter parenting would be the opposite of co-parenting. This is when a parent is working against the other parent when it comes to parenting the child that they both created.
So yeah, this is my final question in regards to that.
Okay.
So do you feel like the toxicity in that relationship before the baby came breeds that, meaning that maybe that baby mama or baby daddy still has some bad lingering feelings, and then that's what's prohibiting for them to look at the child as number one?
I think what it comes down to, I think there's a multitude of things. I think that you have that parent that they saw that coming up.
Right.
They wanted to hurt the other parent, and they understand that and it's messed up because they weaponize the child in doing so, and they don't even understand what they're doing a lot of times until it's too late. And it's crazy. Like when I see women do that, a lot of times women that did that to a good man, they never did better than the man they did that to.
Facts.
I've seen it. It just goes.
Well, that's just on both parties. Whatever you sow in life, you're gonna the
I mean,
karmic residue.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some things. But again, I love my baby. And she needs both of her parents. She
Absolutely.
needs both her mother and her father because it took both of us for her to get here. And all I can do is do the best that I can, but I'm going to make certain my daughter is in arm's reach at all times.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I love today's topic, and I love how we brought intuition into it. And co-parenting, again, we like all are talking about it and experiencing it in some capacity. So that's very important, and that all goes back to learning who you are, having that self-love, working on yourself, getting those chakras on point. Because if you're going into any situation with self-love and healing in the top priority, and also your child, then co-parenting should be a breeze. It doesn't mean it's going to be like a walk in the park and full of roses. No, you're going to have some hiccups, but nonetheless, you should be able to get through it. So integrity, again, is a key component in this element, in this new world that we're going into, in this new paradigm that we're shifting into. So we're going to continue to touch on these type of topics. We're going to continue to get the vibration up. I do appreciate you guys touching base with me today with Intellectual Radio, another Wednesday, 6 p.m. Chicago. What's going on? Your girl Brandy J will be back again. You already know. Brandy and Corey, what's going on?
What's going on? Y'all find me at COREYETHER at Corey Ether. Please check out my most recent single. It's called Sneaky Link. Out everywhere.
Dope, y'all. Definitely check that out.
It has no profanity.
All right, guys. Until next time, love you to pieces. Be safe.
One time for the babies on the south side, the east side, the west side, the north side, Chi-Town.